My name is Allison DeGuide, and I'm with the Illinois Restaurant Association. I'd like to thank you for joining today's business advising session on an AI for restaurants, how to use ChatGPT to boost profits, enhance guest experience, and streamline operations. This business advising session is presented by the Illinois Restaurant Association in partnership with the Cook County Small Business Source. Established to ensure businesses emerge from COVID-19 intact and positioned for growth, the Small Business Source connects small business owners with expert guidance and support. Services include no-cost business advising, resources, and events that connect small business owners with a community of advisors. If you're interested in one of our advisors reaching out one-on-one for further business advising, sign up at cookcountysmallbiz.org. It's free and easy to sign up. For today's business advising session, we encourage you to ask questions. We'll have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. You can either come off of mute to ask your questions or post them in the chat, and I'll go ahead and read them. We also have a team here from the IRA to assist with further questions. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our panelist, James Feldman, AI Concierge with SOAR Academy. Jim, please take it away.
Hello. I would like you to let me share the screen, and there we go. We're good on this? We can see the screen, correct?
Looks great.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this may come as a big surprise to you, but AI is the wave of the future. I know this may come as a shock, but shift happens. In fact, the name of my company is Shift Happens, and I had no idea how timely that would be given what's going on in the world today. So let me ask you a question. Are you using old weapons to fight today's battles? If you're not using AI tools, I promise you your competitors are. AI tools are everywhere. In fact, as of right now, the best indication is that there's approximately 500,000 AI tools out there. Clearly, we don't have enough time to delve into all of those. So we're going to focus on one tool. That one tool is something that almost everybody knows about, but very few people are leveraging all the power that it brings to the table. So why do you want to listen to me? Here's a few of my clients. I'm an author with 26 books. I've been advising companies for most of my adult life. I'm a speaker and a chocolatier. I have owned my own restaurant. I have a chocolate company, so I understand some of the challenges that you face. So whether you've got a small business, big business, multi-franchises, etc., I promise you this. The a la carte application of what ChatGPT can do for your business is a wow. It is an I had no idea it would do that. But ChatGPT is like drinking from a fire hose. You wouldn't put a fire hose out to serve some water to your customer. Don't use ChatGPT or any AI tool without understanding that if you let it act like a fire hose, you will walk away thirsty. And for those of you that are concerned, no robots were harmed in making your business awesome. As we move forward, we're looking at what if you could spend less time managing and more time creating? I call those bright ideas. I call those aha moments. What if you could train your staff more easily? That's an aha moment. What if the tools and technologies would help you become more cost efficient? With rising costs of everything that you can think of, this becomes a very, very important ROI using ChatGPT. Return on your ideas. So the what if is pretty much anything you can think of. The what if, as you walk through your restaurant, no matter what kind of a restaurant, we all face similar issues. And let's talk about them. But before we do that, I want you to think about all of the tools that are out there. If you look at this for a moment, can you name what they are? Of course not, because they keep changing by the day. While we could spend hours and hours talking about each tool that is specifically laser focused on doing something for your business, I'm going to hone it down to ChatGPT, because I am your AI concierge. ChatGPT, in 5 days from its launch, had 1 million members. 5 days. Currently, there's 600 million users using ChatGPT worldwide. ChatGPT functions on what you may have been told, a prompt. And people get confused. What's a prompt? A prompt is an instruction. And the clearer the instruction, the better it does. Now, people are saying, well, AI is going to take my job. AI this, you know what? It's not going to cook. It's not going to serve. It's not going to clean. It's not going to take out the trash. So why are we concerned? We shouldn't be concerned because we have, in essence, an employee that does what we tell it to do. Specifically, doesn't take a vacation, doesn't ask for a coffee break. In fact, the more specific, the better it is. And it takes criticism well. You may have heard the term LLM, Language Learning Model. My ChatGPT is Mr. Spock because it was only logical. I talk to Mr. Spock. I have conversations with Mr. Spock. And I will say, you did this right, you did this wrong, can you fix this, can you fix that? And when we get into me showing you actual conversations with ChatGPT, you will see how it works. But for you, what can ChatGPT do? Menu planning, marketing content, business analysis, staff management, just a few of the things it'll do. So if we're going to unlock the potential, let's take a very quick overview. Customer service. It can automate pretty much everything that you want for the interaction between you and your customers. It can help you create menus. It can provide recommendations. As an example, I have a client that we took their menu, we took their wine list, we created a ChatGPT conversation so that when someone orders, let's say, a steak, it automatically makes the references back to the wine list that's already there. So it, in essence, becomes an AI sommelier. Now, it's nowhere near as good as a live person, but for those restaurants that can't afford one, it's a great substitute. What about your marketing? Marketing is really a phenomenal part of ChatGPT. Emails, social media engagement, influence collaborations, all part of what ChatGPT can do for you. And then most restaurants that I've talked to do not leverage ChatGPT for the operational efficiency, inventory management, food cost optimization, and all those things which really affect the bottom line. So let's break it down into little groups. Confirmations, table turnovers, no-show management. Look at this process right here and think about how it would help the front of the house manage more effectively. What about the guest experience? What if it could set up an avatar for each guest that came in to remember their preferences, offer tailored recommendations? What about VIP and loyalty programs? What about special occasions? All of this can be run through ChatGPT. And then people will say, well, how's it going to integrate with the systems I have right now? It does easily. It will go into your CRM if you have one. It'll go and integrate into your point of sale. It certainly manages reservations and inventory management. And in another advancement of ChatGPT, it will allow voice-driven ordering instead of having to type it. It'll give enhanced accessibility to real-time menu. For instance, let's say you're running a special on Valentine's Day and you have steak and lobster. This will allow the inventory to be updated in real time so that you manage the customer's expectation as well as not having disappointments because you didn't know how many were going to order and you may be running out. Therefore, you're going to want to manage your guests' expectations from the beginning. And of course, it does everything in real time. What about seating? What about the fact that as everybody comes into the restaurant, you're trying to have dining duration? In other words, how long are they sitting at the table? It has the predictive analytics. How do you optimize your seating? I remember going into a restaurant that was a very snooty restaurant in Beverly Hills that served caviar. And my guest and I walked in at 12 o'clock, and we were the only two people there. And the maitre d' looks at me and goes, "Do you have a reservation?" And I looked around, the place was empty. And I said, "Apparently, nobody has a reservation." He said, "Well, there's a wait list." You can imagine my reaction to going somewhere else to eat with that kind of an attitude. ChatGPT has no attitude. ChatGPT is what I refer to as benign. It is white label. It doesn't have anything that interferes with it doing its job. And then you can use it for allocation of the tables. You get feedback almost instantaneously for any of the restaurants that are using tablets or anything for ordering. They can collect feedback in real time from their customers and get the trends and understand what is going on from the center of gravity. Center of gravity is where your customer is. You can track behavior. You can automate rewards. You can offer rewards. You can do customer segmentation, retargeting, do predictive recommendations. You can create content. You can create hashtags. You get more engaged in your social media office. It can create a calendar of emails, text messages, subject line, campaigns, all of these generated so that you can focus on your seasonal promotions or your flash sales or any kind of personalized offers. I remember having a particular restaurant in New York that I would go to every time I was there for a trade show or an event. I would make it a point to go to this restaurant. And they started an index card so that when I made a reservation, the waiter knew what I typically liked, what I typically did not like, and came to the table and said, "Mr. Feldman, welcome back. Did you know we have the Lagastitos on tap?" Etc., etc. That makes the customer feel special. And if you're looking for influencers, AI and ChatGPT specifically is designed for it. It is an amazing tool to get people to talk about you in the most positive way. And what about scheduling with your staff? You can come up with a schedule. You can talk about where you have the greatest demand. You can have reminders that text out to the employees that they need to show up for this training or need to show up because you've got a full house, etc. And then you've got your food costs. You can actually have ChatGPT track it so that you understand the demand. You can understand the portion control. You can understand the surplus management, and you can have that interact with your vendors in real time. It has real-time tracking, real stocking alerts, and smart purchase orders. Imagine if your menu was tied to your inventory so that your kitchen staff would know what to reorder from that particular vendor or supplier in advance of trying to do it the manual way. And what about planning a menu? ChatGPT will plan the menu for you. You just tell it what you're looking for, and it will engage with you. And the more specific you are, the better the response. So if you're looking for a kitchen side of it, it'll help you prioritize your orders. It'll be accurate and from the time the order goes in to the time the order is taken to the table. It will help you optimize the workflow as you move forward. And of course, if you have enough analytics and you actually use a camera to upload some pictures, it'll talk about the quality control, the presentation, etc. And as we look at the future, You're going to see more and more in terms of automation, analytics, smart kitchens, and personalized dining. Chat GPT is without a doubt the single best assistant you could hire. The rest of this presentation is predicated on two things. Number one, you have a ChatGPT account. And number two, you are using the paid version of ChatGPT, which currently is about $20 a month. When I give this talk and ask the audience, how many of you are using the paid version? I am often surprised. So in the chat, if you would, type in paid or unpaid, and let's see what happens as we switch screens. Before I get started, any quick questions? Do we have any kind of feedback, guys?
Quite a few unpaid, a few paid. I'd say there's actually a surprising number of paid, but yeah, there's a lot of unpaid.
Let me put it to you in business terms, if I can. They've invested billions and billions of dollars. Do you think they're giving you all the bells and whistles on the free version? I don't think so. All right. Can we see the screen? Good.
Yes.
Number one, upper left corner. There's a little picture of me. It may have your initials, it may have a picture, but click on it. Oh, look, a menu drops down. Now, most of you are going, how do you do that? Because ChatGPT doesn't come with a set of instructions. Right here, you're going to say customize, and you're going to click on it. Now it has questions. What should it call me? In this case, James. What do you do? I'm an AI concierge. In your case, you would talk about your restaurant. What traits should we have? So this is what a write-up is. And if you don't know how to do it, you're going to have ChatGPT help you create it. It gives you about 1,500 characters, and you can change this anytime you want. So if you're not getting the responses that you want from ChatGPT, you can go in and rewrite it. Anything else ChatGPT should know about you. So in this case, you would say, I have a restaurant that caters to, or we specialize in, or we're having a lot of competition in such and such an area. And again, you get 1,500 characters. Then you want to go down and you want to turn this button on, enable for new chats, and then say save. Click. Okay. Now we're going to go back up where we were before, and we're going to say settings. In settings, once again, they don't tell you to do this, but here's how you get notified. Here's how you personalize it. What kind of speech would you like? English, Spanish, etc. What kind of data controls? In other words, you're going to be able to manage the links. You're going to export the data. These are choices that you make on how you want ChatGPT to react. Now, some people will say, well, if I upload all of this, the rest of the world's going to know about it. Well, you can disable ChatGPT from putting it onto the internet. But here's my comment. Yes, it will upload to the internet. But it's like finding one grain of sand in all the beaches of the world. Is it there? Yes. Somebody going to find it? Probably not. I wouldn't worry about it. I don't worry about it. I don't think you should worry about it, but that's, of course, your choice. Here is a builder profile that allows you to go in and do the links to your social media. Why do you want to do that? Because when you start talking to ChatGPT, you want to give it as much information as possible. You can have your connected apps. So here's my OneDrive, my Google Drive, etc., so that I can store things. Here's your security question. Do you want to make sure that ChatGPT requires a double opt-in so somebody else is not getting into your ChatGPT? And then here is your subscription model and how you're paying for it. So my plan auto renews. Oh, looks like it auto renews this month. Okay. Lastly, once you're up here and you look at all of these, you can see all the tasks. GPTs are specific prompts, specific things that you can do. But let me show you the first amazing toy tool, whatever. And I'm not sure I enabled sound, so let me stop share for just 1 second and check. I didn't. Good for us. All right, we're back to sharing. This little guy right here is a microphone.
I think we're actually just seeing your desktop right now.
Okay, I am sorry. Let me go back and unclick it. I apologize.
It's okay. We've had that happen.
Yeah. How's that now?
Great.
Yes.
Everything sounds good on my end.
All right.
Need any assistance? All right. Just let me know if anything comes up.
Yes, I'm opening a new vegan restaurant and I need some help with the menu. Can you help me out?
Absolutely. I'd be delighted to help with your vegan restaurant menu. What kind of dishes are you thinking about including?
I'm thinking about all kinds of dishes, seafood, poultry, meat.
For a vegan restaurant, focusing on plant-based alternatives to seafood, poultry, and meat can be really exciting. How about dishes like jackfruit pulled pork, seitan chicken, or a hearty mushroom seafood stew?
That's real-time conversation with ChatGPT.
Yes, exactly. It's all about creating delicious plant-based versions of classic dishes. Is there
Okay, so now I'm just going to go into chat and I'm going to start a new chat. Now, up here in the corner on the left, it's got different search engines. Each search engine has its own good news, bad news. Here's what I mean by that. Every week, ChatGPT is making it bigger, faster, smarter, but in some cases, taking away certain things that you may or may not have gotten used to. So, as an example, this one, this one, this one, and this one all have different, let's just call them filters or funnels. So, you need to kind of understand what kind of questions you're going to ask. So, I'm going to say here,
Let me
help me create a vegan menu. Now, because it's in real time, I have no idea what it's going to do, but here we go. Can we see this okay, Allison?
Yep.
Now, that was a very, very simple prompt, right? Look at this. Okay, let's pick something we don't know much about. Let's say vegan mushroom stroganoff. All right. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to say, please create a recipe and ingredient list for. So now it's giving a description. Here come the ingredients. Kind of a wow, huh? Let's continue with just this one, just for real time, all right? Look at the amount of detail. Now, because I have trained Mr. Spock, my assistant, I have said, don't shorten it, give me step by step, etc. So you need to make sure when you put in your prompt that you do that. Look at this, nutritional ingredients, okay? Check the local Chicago market for this type of item and price it for me. It is now searching the web. There's the cost breakdown. This is just one little tiny, tiny thing. Would you like assistance with locating specific stores to purchase these ingredients? The answer is yes. Where? Wholesale. Now scrubbing the internet. Imagine your chef or you as the owner having this tool to help you create a menu, to help you find sources. So I want to make this as valuable as possible for the audience. So I want to go back and say, if you want to feed me another question, I'll put it in and show you how it works. But before I do that, here is a search history. So you can see how I've done certain things. So let me show you one that I think everybody may be interested in. I created a prompt. I'm going to take the prompt and I'm going to put it into the chat so you can have it. And it is, can you optimize my LinkedIn profile? Now you could say the same thing, optimize my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter. But in this case, I said, optimize my LinkedIn profile. What do? You go to your LinkedIn profile, you copy what's there, and you give it to chat to look at. So here's what it came back with. Your profile is already strong, but to attract hospitality tourism, we suggest the following. New headline, additions to the About section, experience enhancements, skill section, featured section, recommendation and endorsements, customized vanity link. For instance, it changed my link to James Feldman, Hospitality AI. I only had James Feldman before. But now because it added Hospitality AI, someone on the internet looking for hospitality AI person or expert or whatever, I'm going to show up better in the search engines. And then a call to action. And then it wrote it. So all I had to do was copy it, put it in, and change it. The day I put this up, I ended up with 62 new followers in one day because I optimized the LinkedIn profile using ChatGPT. So if you thought you knew what ChatGPT could do, trust me when I say we don't really know what it will do. So part of what I wanted to do for you guys that are here is that at the end of this presentation, I'm going to ask you for a very short survey on what you thought of the presentation. And as gift, I have created a 50-page book for you, specifically in leveraging ChatGPT for restaurants. And the last 5 pages have 100 prompts already written for you. So all you have to do is copy the prompt, put it into ChatGPT, and let it do its work for you. You can share this up here in the upper left. You see how you can share the link. Down at the bottom, when we get to the very bottom of this, there's this little guy right here. It says copy with formatting or export to Google Docs. Most people have not seen this because, once again, they don't tell you that it's sitting here. Instead of trying to go up and copy everything, you just click on one of these, and then you can export it to your Google Docs, a PDF, etc. So I wanted to leave some time for Q&A. I'm happy to go back and explain anything from either that earlier presentation or to show you more things with ChatGPT. But I thought The more interactive we could make this, the more beneficial it would be to the people on the call. Allison, has anyone put anything in? Questions?
I haven't seen. I mean, a bit earlier, someone asked about using Gemini. I think that's another AI tool.
It's a competitor. So if you think about ChatGPT, they're sort of the grandfather, but actually Jasper was out before, and Jasper is really more for writing. Gemini is Google's version. Then you got Copilot with Microsoft. Remember, these are all language learning models. So each one has its own bias to it. Without confusing you, if we've got a few minutes, I'm going to show you another tool that will allow you to do a search using 4 of those tools simultaneously. So you ask the same question and 4 tools come up with 4 different answers. Here's the other thing with ChatGPT. If you don't like it, say, please do it again. Let me show you another little surprise, and that is just to say, continue. ChatGPT only puts out 25,000 characters. You don't know that it's done talking. So I tell everybody, whatever it is you're doing, look.
We actually have quite a few questions now, if you're ready for that.
Okay.
Okay, so someone said, I use When I Work. I believe that's an app for scheduling. Do I integrate that with ChatGPT or just use them? So
Can you explain what you mean by work?
I think the app is maybe called When I Work.
Okay.
We can come back to that one if the person
right.
writing in wants to go a little further into it. Someone said this is a good one. How do you handle fact checking with ChatGPT?
Write this down, make a Post-it note, put it everywhere you can find it. Trust, but verify. It's coming off the internet. I know this may be a surprise, but some of the stuff on the internet is not true. ChatGPT does not know that. None of the AI tools know that. Period. They just don't. Do not, never, ever take something coming off of any of these AI tools and believe it to be 100%. Period.
That's great. Someone said, have you seen any AI tools that are helpful in analyzing restaurant financials?
Yes. Can ChatGPT analyze my financials for me? See? Please upload the following: income, balance, cash flow, etc. Once loaded, I will review the data, identify trends, provide insights, suggest optimizations. Let me know if you're looking for something specific, such as costs, cutting, etc. Now, here's where people get nervous. I'm putting all my financial information on the internet. Yes, you are. But if that's of concern to you, then go back to the settings and say, do not share this. I will say this to you again. So what? What is somebody going to do with it? If you're really worried about it, don't put it up there. If you're really worried about it, then perhaps you take your name off of the document when you upload it, so that it is uploading data, but it's not identifying the name of the organization that the data is coming from. ChatGPT is a generalist tool. There are specific tools that do things better than ChatGPT. When you've got 500,000 tools out there, I could do an entire day of showing you AHA versus AHA versus AHA, because this tool is designed for graphics. This tool is designed for music. Let me just say to you, there's an app for that, period. So let's just take that same thing and say, give me the top 10 tools for financial review and optimization. So to that person who asked, here come 10 tools. Remember, ChatGPT is an assistant that has no bias on its own. It's not out there trying to sell you a subscription to QuickBooks. It's out there just trying to answer the question and get an aha. And here's important. You're going to laugh. Thank you. This was great. Look, you're welcome.
That's fun. We have another good question. Someone said, how does ChatGPT integrate with a point of sale system?
Okay. How can ChatGPT integrate with POS? Here's how. Chatbots, self-service kiosk, smart recommendations. Remember, your POS is collecting data. What are you doing with the data? Is it coming to you in an Excel spreadsheet? Is it coming to you in a Word document? Once you got that document in any form or fashion, you go down and you click this little plus button right here, and you upload the document, and ChatGPT will read it. But in answer to that person's question, here was ChatGPT telling you, by the way, I think I brought all this up earlier. See, this is really the key to it right here. It's called an API integration. And if you don't know how to do that, an API is literally one piece of software talking to another piece of software. And then here are the systems that have already spent a lot of time and effort. Like the one that I hear the most is Toast as far as an integration. But again, there's probably 50 of them out there at this point. Next question.
What's the best way to use ChatGPT to schedule staff?
So here's AI scheduling software. Somebody was asking about when I work. So let's just pick. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with Zoho, Zoho is this, I'm going to call it somewhat unknown in the United States piece of software that has something like 200 million users. It is an inexpensive start, but everything is an add-on. Everything is an add-on. So by the time you're through with the, let's call it $20 a month, you may have $200 or $300 tied up getting all the bells and whistles. So here I'm going to take these, I'm going to grab them, I'm going to copy it and say, which is the easiest to use if I am not tech savvy. When I work, came up number one. Home base number two. Now, create a table for comparison using name, line, purpose, line, outcome, line, URL, line, price. Okay? So when you're asking it to create a table, you want to put a line between each one, not a comma. Because remember, this is a computer language learning model, so you need to sort of talk a little bit of computerese. Create a table for comparison from the above. Boom. Now, for those of you that say, well, Jim makes this look easy, I should tell you that you're busy running a restaurant. I'm busy spending 14 to 16 hours a day learning how to use all this stuff because every single day it changes. And I think if I'm gone for a week, I won't catch up. So for me, this is what I do day in and day out. Discover how to use these tools out there and constantly go, wow, look at that. So there's the table. Okay. Now I'm going to say, you didn't give me a link. So create the above table in a PDF that I can share. Remember, it's real time. It's based on the speed of your internet. It's also predicated on how many other people are online. So ChatGPT says that any particular time of day, they could have between 20 million and 50 million users at a time. Okay, so there's the download of the file. I'm just going to put it on my desktop and then I'll upload it into the chat. Next question.
So someone asked, if we all use the same prompts, will we get similar answers? And then adding to that, how can ChatGPT make us unique or give us a competitive edge over other restaurants using ChatGPT?
So the answer is, if you ask the same question to ChatGPT, each time you'll get different answers. Why? Because it's scrubbing the internet. And when it goes out to scrub the internet for, let's call it version A, it may not replicate what it found when you ask it for version B. So give me some suggestions. Ask that person what kind of a restaurant they have for competitive differentiation for my, what type of restaurant?
Coffee shop.
Located where? Just the city.
Yeah, I'm going to assume Chicago.
Okay. See, I think that if I was running a coffee shop, I would look at the real successful coffee shops. For instance, and this is only for me, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I was constantly working downtown and people will say, you got to go to Lou Mitchell's to get coffee. Well, the first time I met Lou Mitchell's, he was like, hey, if you're not going to drink or buy some more stuff, get out. I need that seat. I mean, he was a very flamboyant individual that was kind of in your face, but apparently people liked that about him. So the coffee shop had a personality. Again, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I listen to people spending $6, $8, $10 on a double dipped latte, espresso, Starbucks, and I think it's got drugs in it for that kind of money. I just don't understand how you're spending that much money for a cup of coffee. So one of my examples has always been, if you do it at home, it's about a dime. If you use pods, etc., it's about a quarter. But if you go to Starbucks, it becomes $5. It's still the same cup of coffee, I think. Again, not a coffee drinker, and I'm not trying to whitewash anyone who's got a coffee shop. This is not my wheelhouse. I just don't get it. Now, I happen to like wine, and I'm sure the coffee drinker is going to look at me and say, you spent how much for that bottle of wine? And could you really tell the difference between the $2 Chuck and the Chateau Lafite 1959? So you've always got to mitigate your customer experience with your experience and who you are and what you're doing. But in answer to that question, look at this: signatures, community engagement, tech powered, sustainability, ethical impact, unique atmosphere, et cetera, et cetera. When we're all done with this, I'm going to grab the link and put it in the chat so that you get this whole conversation. That's why I've sort of kept it rolling through one to another, so it's all one. Here's the other thing to remember with ChatGPT. It's a conversation. Do not start a new conversation because it doesn't remember what it just told you in the other conversation. If you're doing a lot of these and you want to go over here and you want to open up projects, it's on your left side. When you open up projects, it's like a file folder. So you can take the output, move it into that file folder, and have it later for you to go back to reference. So you're not starting from square one. So for the person that was talking, we got what? 7 major recommendations. And here was the bottom line: unique drinks, hyper local vibes, tech enhanced convenience, sustainability, engagement. So for instance, if your coffee shop doesn't offer complimentary Wi-Fi, I think that's a huge mistake, because I think that's why a lot of people go to coffee shops, is to Wi-Fi. The difficulty with that is then they don't necessarily want to get up and give up the table. So you need to figure out how to keep the churn going so that you don't have people standing in line that are really waiting to pay for something because somebody else there is writing the Gettysburg Address and re-editing it. Next one, Allison.
I actually think that might be all the questions for now, if anybody's asked. If any, or I don't see any more. I was gonna say, I believe at the end of this too, they'll have access to your email, so if they want to reach out to you directly.
Sure.
Great. Okay.
So
Perfect.
what you have to do is threefold. Number one, pay the $20. Number two, understand that a prompt is in fact detailed descriptions. The more detailed you are, the better the output. Number three, you can ask the question over and over and over and over again because it doesn't get offended. It learns from it. It basically says, okay, I'm not doing it right. So I'm going to take this last one and say, what is the most profitable way to create the above?
We also just,
And
when you're
crush.
done with that, we had another question come in, so.
Okay. So I said, what's the most profitable way to create the above and crush the competition? To crush the competition and maximize productivity? And here it comes. You got to remember that at the end of all this, it's your assistant. Use language that reinforces what you're talking about. Be definitive. Don't whitewash it. Say, somebody said, I want a piece of the pie. Well, I want the whole pie. And that's the way I write. Why do I want to share it? I work too hard. So if you're in the restaurant business, which is highly competitive, the more you can leverage the power of ChatGPT to run your restaurant, to save money, to become more efficient, more responsive to your customers, train your staff, manage your turnover, monitor your inventory, why not? It's the best $20 you're ever going to invest. And then you said there was another.
Yeah, I was gonna say that actually is a nice segue into this question. Which version of ChatGPT is right for a single restaurant? There's a $20, $200, and a business option.
Okay. You don't need the 200 and you don't need the business. You do need the $20 one. The $200 one is really designed for somebody that is writing the great American novel, needing a huge amount of resource, needing a lot of time on the ChatGPT servers. The business one is insanely priced because that's actually monetized by the amount of time you're using it. I can tell you I'm on ChatGPT. I'm going to say conservatively, just ChatGPT, 8 to 10 hours a day. I use the $20 version. I have been shut out maybe twice where they've said either you've used up too much time or we've got too many people online. That's it. So for $20 versus $200, I can live with it.
That's great. Thank you. This is, I think, for me. Someone said, will there be a replay of this session? Yes. After this, everyone will receive a recording. And I think that actually brings me nicely to kind of summing it up. So thank you so much to everyone who attended. Thank you, James, with SOAR Academy for that great preview. I'd also like to thank the Cook County Small Business Source for their continued support. And then again, everyone will receive a link to the email, or excuse me, after this recording, after this webinar, everyone will receive an email with links to the recording, as well as email information for James here.
And I'm sorry, Allison, I wanted to upload. Can you see this or no? I'm not sure.
Yes. It's a QR code.
Yes.
Perfect.
So the QR code is going to ask you 5 very fast questions. The very last one says, how would you describe this? And at the bottom, it's got 2 check marks. It says your name and address, etc. Just to uncheck it, don't worry about it. We're not asking you for your name and address, but because of the system that I use, I couldn't get rid of it for you. So I'm not trying to get your emails. I'm not trying to get your name, but I just want to give you a heads up. So when you scan this, at the conclusion of answering it, you will get the PDF of the book, which is ChatGPT for restaurateurs that I wrote specifically for the Illinois Restaurant Association.
Perfect. Yeah, I think we'll leave that up on the screen for.
And then I'm putting into the chat the link, so everybody should grab it before they go. That's the link of the chat that we just had for all of the conversations we had with ChatGPT. I am available to help you guys. If you've got some questions, you can email me, I'll walk you through it. Again, it's like learning any other skill. You have to go in, you have to play with it, you have to train your assistant, and once you do, the rewards are phenomenal.
I think that's a great way to end. Everyone in the chat is thanking you as well for the great presentation. So have a nice day, everyone, and have a great day, Jim.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.